Last night it was the Mariners' home opener at Safeco Field, and the A's decided to spoil the party. The revamped bullpen stepped up big when they were needed, and then in the ninth, super utility man Chris Coghlan deposited a solo home run into the right field seats, breaking the tie, and the A's took Game 1 of the series. Tonight, Rich Hill makes his second start of the year, and he will look to rebound from an uneventful opening night start. Game 2 of 3-game set. A's-Mariners next. It is a beautiful night for baseball at Safeco Field in downtown Seattle. A's will try to make it 2 in a row over the Mariners. They will send the lefty Rich Hill to the mound. And one of the heroes last night, Chris Coghlan, he's in the lineup. He's going to play left field tonight. So it's Game 2 of the 3-game series. The A's and the Mariners coming up on Comcast Sportsnet California. Good evening, everybody. Along with Ray Fossey, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Welcome to A's Baseball. Well, so far, so good for that new-look A's bullpen. And, Ray, last night, that bullpen was one of the main reasons the A's won the game.
You know, we've talked about it being a 6-inning Game 7. How about a 5-inning game? Last night, Fernando Rodriguez came in first and third, a very crucial situation. He gets a big double play with Nelson Cruz hitting 6-4-3. And then after that, turn it over to Axford, Doolittle, and then Matson. These guys were outstanding. Sean Doolittle ends up getting the win as he pitched perfectly. He faced the middle part of the batting order, and then Ryan Matson faced a couple of very good pinch hitters from the left side. He picked up the save. This changeup just off the table, doing a great job. So you can mix and match, do whatever you want, but the bottom line, the bullpen's doing a tremendous job.
And tough to judge Rich Hill on his first start. He was out there on opening night, of course, got the nod for opening night just about 6 hours before first pitch. That's never easy for a pitcher who, you know, likes to know exactly what's going on. So keep a close eye on Rich Hill. I think he's going to be a lot better tonight.
He wants to be in the rotation. He has the opportunity with the Athletics, but we do not know what's going to be happening in the future. But for Rich Hill, like you had said earlier, he knew last Monday he's going to be pitching tonight. So he's had 5 days to think about the Mariners. He's had success against them. We'll see how he does tonight. But he wants to be in the rotation. He has the opportunity to do that.
And he will be opposed by the second-year right-hander Nate Carnes, who came over to the Mariners in an off-season trade with the Rays. So we'll have that and a lot more when we come back, including a trip back inside the A's pregame live studios. And then after that, we'll come back to Safeco for lineups and first pitch.
on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Back at Safeco Field, and we're just about set to get this baby going. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. Gorgeous night, 64 degrees, and we're starting this game an hour earlier than last night. It was nice last night as well, but about the fifth inning it started to cool off, which usually happens this time of year up here in Seattle, but it is a nice night. Athletics lineup tonight, it looks like this. See Coco Crisp, he's going to lead things off. He's going to play center field. Chris Coughlin's in left field tonight. Josh Reddick back in the outfield. He's in right. Valencia at third. Vogt will catch. Lowry is the second baseman. Chris Davis will DH. Alonso at first. Marcus Semien is your shortstop.
And is the starting pitcher, his first for the Mariners. That is a young man who was acquired from the Tampa Bay Rays, Nathan Carnes. He started against the A's one time last year, but he gave up three pretty good players to get this right-hander who's not really overpowering. Low 90s with a fastball, curveball, and he will also occasionally throw his changeup, but primarily a fastball pitcher with a 2 and 4 seam trying to get ground ball outs.
So Carnes wearing the number 13.
I was going to say, he's not superstitious, at least here.
He's fine. First pitch of the ball game is low to Coco Crisp. So Nate Carnes and Rich Hill, the pitching matchup tonight.
Okay,
Chris Coughlin and Reddick here in the first.
Remember, Kiyoshi Yabo was with the A's. He wore number 13. And I found out that in Japan, 13 is not unlucky. The number 4 is unlucky. Matt Keogh told me that because he had been in the Pacific Rim, and so 13 was just another number for Yabo. You know.
So we should be worried about Coco tonight then. He's number 4.
Well, it's in Tokyo. Here is 4 is okay.
So 2-1 to Coco Crisp. Umpires tonight. Carlos Torres calling balls and strikes, and Jerry Davis, Sam Holbrook, and Rob Drake rounded out. And there's Jerry Davis. He's the crew chief. Coco hits one high in the air, should reach the seats, and it will. Defensively for the Mariners tonight, no changes. Aoki, Martin, and Gutierrez. I take that back. Gutierrez in right field tonight. Seager, Marte, Cano, and Lee around the infield with Chris Iannetta doing the catching. That's right. Cruz was out in right field last night. Tonight it's Franklin Gutierrez.
And something that managers can do with the day game after a night game, although this being an hour earlier tonight, not such a big deal, especially in the first week of the season.
Line drive past Lee and a base hit. So Carnes will immediately be in the stretch to face Chris Coughlin.
Well, it comes down to a 2-2 pitch, and it's a fastball, and it's right down the middle. And so pitchers who have a split, a changeup. Madsen, of course, a great changeup last night. And Taijuan Walker was throwing a very good changeup. Of course, they'll see the best tomorrow with Felix Hernandez, but a 2-2 fastball down the middle, very hittable, and Coco took advantage of it.
So Coughlin steps in. A big home run last night in the top of the 9th inning. He was the hero, and he was our post-game guest. Very nice young man.
Yeah.
And a good interview. That's what.
Very good.
We decide that at the afterward. We look at each other and rate these interviews on a scale of 1 to 10. His was about an 8.
He thought it was a 10.
That's all right. It may have been. We may be
but watch
shy
how
in this one.
Watch how he reacts. Chris Iannetta goes in, and he just reacted on the pitch. And you know, while he told us one thing last night, he was basically saying, in batting practice, I've tried to hit them out to left field. I can't do it. And he said, yeah, I get a pitch inside that I can pull for a home run. And you know, we saw it in Oakland. It hurt the A's. Last night it helped the A's, and the A's definitely will take it.
It looked like to me, and you've said this many times, he just reacted on the pitch inside.
Exactly.
You just kind of drop the head of the bat.
Right. Because I think in most cases hitters are expecting to see something away and they want to protect. So when they see something inside, it's like, oh, okay. And then it's the reaction that helps them do it. There have been many home runs hit that way. And
Coco runs, pitches a strike, throw to second base, is not in time. Coco Crisp has a stolen base. And it's a big stolen base. It's a milestone stolen base. It's number 300 in his career. So congratulations to Coco Crisp. So he's in scoring position with nobody out. See Marte playing right behind Coco Crisp. Just outside, 3-1.
A pretty good jump off Carnes, a high leg kick. Iannetta, the veteran, still throws quite well, but throw a little bit high. Coco with a great jump. Look at the head. He's thinking stolen base. He's not looking back. And I think that's something Billy Burns can look at, because Billy looks back towards the catcher to see. And of course nobody out, but yet Coco was thinking stolen base all the way. Coghlan took it for him.
Fouled straight back.
It was a 2-0 pitch that Coghlan took so Coco could steal. And a good idea. The left-hander, just even though it was a strike, now 3-2, still trying to pull the ball to the right side. But the way they're positioning him, they expect him to pull it, which is a little surprising. But I think Iannetta, after last night, might pitch him away, force him to go to the opposite field.
High and foul. 93 miles an hour on the fastball from Carnes.
Cap, we have seen a number of times, and we've talked about it, where there's been a runner at second base and nobody out, and how a hitter will try to adjust, especially right-hander, trying to stay inside, hit the ball to the right side. And I asked the A's hitting coach Darren Bush, I said, what do you do in those situations? He said, we tell them to take what they're going to give you. He said, pitcher knows you're trying to hit the ball the opposite field. He's not going to give you a pitch to do that. So if you can get a base at the left field, you're still going to move the runner and get yourself on base and still accomplish what you're trying to do. So it's not really cast in concrete that if the runner gets a second, nobody out, that you have to hit the ball to the right side.
Well, there's a pretty nice hole on the left side.
Exactly.
With Coghlan.
That's Darren Bush, second year as a hitting coach. But yeah, and that's what he's talking about, that if they want to give you that base hit, you're still going to accomplish what you set out, and that is move the runner to third base, but you're going to get a hit yourself. It's easier for a left-hander, because really for Coghlan, he can get a top hand, he can open up a little bit more, and the left-hander can pull the ball. But he may be looking at that hole also and saying, if you're going to pitch me there, I'll try to shoot it in that direction, as he did Thursday at the Coliseum when he got 2 hits to left field.
Hits it hard, a one-hopper to Cano. So Coco goes to third.
And actually, they helped Coghlan be able to do it as an off-speed pitch, and he was able to get his top hand and hit the ball to the right side.
All right.
Great job. Now you figure the Mariners are going to play back with Josh Reddick, and but watch what he does. Right, off-speed pitch. See him open up and top hand. That pitch is outside, yet he saw it was an off-speed. He opened up, top hand, roll over perfectly.
So see if Reddick can get the job done here with Coco at third and 1 out. Seager is on the edge of the grass at third.
Wow.
Other 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond.
And Reddick hits the same ground ball that Coghlan did. The A's will have a 1-0 lead. Pitcher, third baseman, the only place on the infield not to hit one.
Close pitch. 1-1 count.
Josh Reddick saying today how happy he was to get the first one out of the way. Breaking ball that he got into, the second in as many seasons, against last night's starting pitcher Taijuan Walker.
That one in the dirt, but Reddick went around. So now he's going to have to battle down in the count 1-2.
After the one curveball missed, he was looking fastball. He already committed when he saw it. Good block by the veteran catcher Iannetta. But Reddick, this is a matter of just assuming going to get a fastball. He saw it straight, and then the bottom dropped out of it.
Coco led off the game with a base hit, stole second. So Valencia will be next.
Well, this is a great job by Iannetta, just moving laterally, getting his body in front of the ball.
He got a little flesh on that.
Yeah, well, that's what catchers are willing to do. They'll give up some flesh to block a ball, especially with the runner at third. Just another bag of ice.
Sure.
That's all it is.
Strikeout for Carnes.
Well, he got the fastball. He's looking for the previous pitch and did open up a little bit. A good pitch to go to left field, especially with a huge hole on the left side, but could not make contact.
So he led All-American League rookies in strikeouts last year. He also led American League rookies in innings pitched and starts. He really had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
7-5, good ERA at 3.67. He was kind of the king of the no decision.
Well, the one start he had against the A's, he went through a lot of trouble in the first 5 innings, but didn't give up a run. In sixth inning, the A's got to not only him, but he was taken out, and the bullpen hurt him. But he pitched very well against the A's. Kendall Graveman pitched a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a start down in St. Petersburg. A's won the game 5-0. It was 23rd of May. 14 no decisions last year. Tied for most in the American League. It was a big trade. Names that we know went from Seattle to the Rays. Brad Miller, Danny Farquhar, and Logan Morrison.
I think Danny Farquhar is a guy that you have only a chance to see him 7 times versus 19.
Yeah.
7 with the Rays.
1-2. Sitting up outside. Newton has popped up. Lead toward the seats. So the trade happened in November, and from a quantity standpoint, it was one of the bigger ones. Mariners also got C.J. Reppenhauser, a left-handed pitcher who they had traded soon after that, and Boog Powell. Boog Powell used to be a A's minor leaguer.
And it's not Boog's Barbecue in Baltimore either.
It's not the big fellow from Baltimore. Boog Powell.
It's only one Boog.
Hitting outfielder, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle. Coco trots in to score, and Valencia gets a 2-out RBI hit here in the first to give the A's a 1-0 lead.
A hanging curveball, unbelievable. Coco got a base hit to start it, and the curveball watched this ball hang. And Danny Valencia, after 2 very good fastballs thrown to the outside part of the plate for strikes, hangs a breaking ball, takes it right back up the middle, even with a shift. Cano close to the bag, but just to his right, no chance, and a huge hit because the A's wasted an opportunity last night, but with a 2-out hit here to score at least the 1.
Second RBI of the year for Valencia. Looked like those last 2 at bats were interesting. With Reddick and 2 strikes, it did not look like he cut down on his swing at all.
Right.
Valencia did just a little bit.
You know, from Chris Coughlin's standpoint, he gave himself up and got the runner to third, and then to see the strikeout, that's disappointing. Even better to see Valencia come through with 2 outs.
I mean, there's a little swing taken out here from Valencia. He usually has a pretty big swing. It's a good job of hitting. was 0 for 4 last night.
Yeah, Cap, I'm still amazed at times whenever I see some of the pitch calling. And Iannetta is a veteran. And I just think he saw his pitcher spot 2 fastballs to the outside that Valencia could not catch up to, didn't swing. What's wrong with going back to the same pitch? It's almost like, okay, I've thrown 2, I don't want to do it again. Well, he just nailed the outside corner.
And that one is line toward right. Coming in is Gutierrez. He'll play it on a hop. It kicks away from him just a little ways. Valencia goes to third.
Another great 2-strike hit by Stephen Vogt, who basically, we saw his frustration last night. Well, Stoudemire Jr. is going to go out to visit with him. But Stephen, another breaking ball hanger in the middle of the plate. But Stephen said the problem I'm having is that I'm getting too anxious, not letting the ball travel, which means he's trying to go get the ball. He stayed back on the breaking ball. Gutierrez used his body to block the ball as it bounced just a little bit in front of it. But a good swing on the hanging breaking ball by Stephen Vogt.
The 27 pitches here in the first inning for Nate Carnes. So with runners at the corners and 2 outs, Jed Lowry will hit. Lowry with 5 RBIs so far in the year. He was 0 for 4 last night. Tough night in the field, made a couple of errors. Luckily last night the mistakes that the A's made defensively did not hurt them.
Well, the error put runners at first and third and 1 out. And that's when Fernando Rodriguez came in and got the big double play. Mariners had a chance to take the lead. Jed said he has about maybe 18 family members, 6 friends, so 24. Said he grew up about 4 hours from here. Got an aunt and uncle within about half hour, 45 minutes. So between he and Vogt, a lot of tickets left. So Vogt came through. See if Jed Lowry to come through for his group of friends and family on hand.
So 1-2 the count. A very long first inning for Nate Carnes in his first start with his new team. There's the party deck out in deep left center field.
How's our A's fan number 99 doing?
He's not here yet. He's trying to get his tickets.
Celebrating from last night.
He's walking down from maybe Pioneer Square, a couple blocks away, looking for a ticket.
He probably said, I forgot it's a 6:05 or 6:10 start.
Right. 7:10, right? No, 6:10.
Why are those people in that stand so early?
Man, there must be some pregame festivities.
Which there were. Wonder what's happening tomorrow.
Maybe he just was not welcomed.
That's probably
out there
true.
Last night, and he decided to sit somewhere else. Close pitch, 2-2.
Fans reacting. Carlos Torres has been calling that pitch outside, and they thought it should have been strike 3, but the height is okay. It's just the way Iannetta had to reach for it outside, and that probably took it out of the strike zone.
Pitch number 33 coming up, and here it is. It's foul.
He likes to go to the curveball, doesn't he? Yeah. At least his catcher does.
Not a bad crowd tonight after, of course, the huge crowd last night, over 47,000. Scott Service, his first season.
Can't remember if the other Scott Service that the A's had as a pitcher ever pitched to the guy named Scott Service.
Scott Service, that's right. Big right-hander, right?
Mm-hmm.
Full count. Vogt will take off at first. Every once in a while, you throw a name out there of a former A that if you didn't say it, I would have never ever remembered it. Scott Service.
Good take by Jed Lowry. Pitch up and out of the strike zone. It's not spelled the same. No, it's a different spin.
Vogt runs. The ball's bounced into left field. He beats the shift. Run scores. Vogt hustles to third, and now they're going to wave him home. The ball is bobbled in the outfield. The throw to the plate, the tag, and he is out. So there was a juggle in center field, and when Ron Washington saw that, he waved Vogt home. And Vogt is out at home, but a couple of runs for the A's here in the first inning. This is how it ended. Get some oxygen, Stephen Vogt. They're happy. They're excited. Why not? A's with a 2 spot in the first inning. Here's the Mariners lineup tonight. Aoki in left, Marte at short, Cano, Cruz, and Seager in the middle. Then Ionetta, Gutierrez, Lee, and Martin.
Rich Hill making his second start as a member of the Athletics. He started Monday. The emergency, as we mentioned, wearing the number 18. And for Rich Hill, I'd like to get back on track. Just assume that tonight is his first start of the season. It's actually his second, but still, that first one just kind of a throwaway as he hit the first batter, hit the third batter, and didn't last very long.
In the outfield, it's Coghlan at left, Crispin center, Reddick in right. In the infield, Valencia at third, Simeon at short, Lowry at second, Alonso at first. Vogt is your catcher.
He's just now catching his breath.
If he is succeeding in that, we do not know. First pitch to Aoki is low.
Well, Rich Hill needs to have a nice quick inning, uneventful, and get back in the dugout, try to score some more runs.
Almost hit Aoki, 2-0. Here's the play at the plate. Now the ball, Vogt was going to make it to third. And he's running on the play, and you can see he will round it. He'll head to third. And Ron Washington saw that right there and then waved him home.
Yeah, that's the wrong guy because Martin's got a very, very strong arm. And even though he did bobble, it's almost like he deked him and picked it up, flat foot, throw to the plate. Actually, a very good throw considering the way he threw it.
And it makes it tough on Vogt because he had started to slow down, and then you have to get going again.
Well, and really what hurt him as well is that it's 3-2 and he's running on the pitch, and he is already to second base. And so Wash probably thought with the bobble, and of course Ron Washington knows the arm strength.
Simeon, quick throw, got him.
Yeah, they're going to hold up and wait, but I think he's out, and Scott Service is going to take a look at it. They're going to check it immediately.
Well, it didn't take long. Put it that way.
Well, maybe the fan reaction, if they saw it on their Diamond Vision or someplace underneath, but whoever, they have a video coordinator and an assistant video coordinator, and it came immediately. Tim Bogart, their bench coach.
Yeah, that was the quickest from video coordinator to telephone to
headset.
All right, well, let's get a look. Let's be.
Well, you know, on let's see, they're showing it on. They're showing it up there. We're going to show it here, and
he's safe.
Yeah, he's.
Well, it's going to be an infield hit for Aoki. So no secrets here. Everybody sees it. And there's nothing you can do. Simeon made a good play. Aoki gets out of the box quickly. Runs well.
Hit from the left side. Hit the ball to the left side. And so he was quick out of the box. But good stretch by Alonso.
Hey, we got our review summary. This is through Thursday. 6 confirmed, 9 stand, and 13 overturned.
I can't wait to see the number of the record keeping.
There'll be a couple in there.
Was that to forget how many strikes? What the count
outs, is? Balls, and record keeping. I like that. 34 seconds on that review. That could be one of the quickest in the history of instant replay. The long and storied history. Marte fouls one, and it's just below us.
Seeing it on Thursday, there was a challenge, and they said the play stands as was called on the field because they couldn't determine and it happened to be safe.
Yeah. Confirmed means it was clearly the right call.
Right.
Stands means there really wasn't enough evidence to overturn it.
Exactly.
Right. And we all know what overturn means. Swing and a miss. Tal Marte strikes out.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game. Focus #1 on that man right there, Rich Hill, because it is his second start. Important to the rotation because it spins, actually turns it over tonight. This is the second time through. So Rich Hill, very important. And of course, from the bullpen, we have been talking about how strong they are. They continue to prove it. And last night, 4 2/3 innings for the A's bullpen. He gave up 1 walk, and that was it. No hits, no runs, strikeouts, and a big victory for Sean Doolittle and a save for Ryan Matson, 8th and 9th place pitchers, and good job.
Good pitch there to Cano for a strike. I do think, Ray, Bob Melvin mentioned it briefly, but he really wants the starters to start pitching a little bit deeper in the games because he doesn't want to have to overwork this bullpen.
I agree 100%. And anybody in baseball, you'd have to think exactly. Because it would be easy to think 6 innings. I mean, you want to get through 5 to qualify. And then maybe 6. But I still think if they change that quality start away from the 6 and 3, wouldn't get so many people talking about it, thinking about it.
But as great as the bullpen has been, and hey, listen, we're a week into the season, but they've thrown 19 1/3 innings in 5 games, and that's a lot. Now, granted, it's this is game number 6 for the A's, but you don't want to overwork them early in the year.
One of the nice things about the A's bullpen, and we see them enough, so other bullpens I'm sure are good, but there's 7 guys down there, and there's not one that you can think that would come in and you're concerned because they're all pitching great. I mean, and right now, Kurt Young and Bob Melvin are using the guys in certain situations, like Fernando coming in last night, similar to what Liam Hendricks did.
Aoki just gets back with the feet first slide, which you don't see a lot when you're going back to first base.
Looked like he was going to try to steal. He took off, similar to what Billy Burns did the other night in Oakland, and Burns was picked off. Aoki got back quickly.
Roll 5.
Now, we were talking about the Nissan keys of the game about the same time that Marte swung and missed, strike 3. But the one thing, as we were talking about the top of the inning, curveballs with 2 strikes. Stephen Vogt saw that Marte couldn't catch up with the fastball from Rich Hill. He stayed with it and struck him out with 3 fastballs. And that's what you have to do as a catcher. You have to recognize what the hitter's doing, how he's swinging, foot where he's set up with his feet. Oh, wow.
Huge jump. Cano, with 2 strikes, had to swing at it. Pops a foul back. Aoki, a monster jump.
You see those things happen, and of course a runner at first goes on first move, and that's why if you have a leg kick as a left-hander and you lift it up, you freeze the runner, and if he takes off, you can throw to the plate or to first base. But Rich Hill had committed. There was not a sign given by his catcher to throw over to first base. So even though Aoki took off and everybody saw that, Rich Hill had his mindset to throw to the plate.
Not running this time. Hill drops down from the side, and the count is full. Nelson Cruz to follow. He's with a couple of runs on 4 hits in the top of the first.
Well, he's probably going to be running with a 3-2 and might as well concentrate on Cano.
Another throw over there. Robinson Cano last night was 1 for 4. Aoki goes, swing and a miss. Vogt's throw is there, and they got it. Strike him out, throw him on double play, and that's how the bottom of the first comes to an end. So we're headed to the second. 2-0 A's over the Mariners.
Very quick release on a strong throw to second base by Stephen Vogt. Good tag up the line by Marcus Semien for the strike him out, throw him out, and that's with a pretty good jump by Aoki. But it came up and got on the heel right there, and then continued, stayed on the backside, and showing the umpire that he had the baseball. You know, Stephen Vogt had that elbow or the bone chip taken out of his right elbow. His quickness in releasing the ball, I mean, you're probably looking at about a 1-6 from the catcher standpoint of getting rid of the ball. And that was exactly what you hope to do, especially if you don't have the arm strength, and he's still trying to grab it.
Chris Davis got a hanger to hit, and he hits a fly ball to right. Gutierrez is out. Gutierrez takes care of it.
Vogt knows that Aoki is good, but watch this. Boom, boom, and then let it go. And that is quickness. That's all you want. Quick feet get rid of the ball very quickly. And Fegley saying, see, I can't do that because I got a strong arm. He just stands up and air mills it, throws it to second. Strong throw. But that was near perfection with that one.
First pitch to Alonso is a strike.
Well, Marcus Semien coming in front of the bag. Watch the heel right there. Got him on the heel, and they kind of stayed with him and actually got him twice. Looked like got him on the back as well.
Almost looked like Marcus did a nice job of kind of anticipating that the throw may be up the line a little bit, and he got out in front. Then you're away from the runner.
Up the line because probably figured that Stephen Vogt had to hurry and the ball was going to tail into the runner, and he got the bag, stayed with it, and everything worked perfectly.
Alonso 1 for 4 last night. He had a double. On the season, 2 for 14 with a couple of RBIs.
We've talked about the power positions, first, third, right, and left, the corner positions, and I asked him about that, and he said, I have been the type of hitter that I try to go gap to gap and drive in runs that way. There's been a lot of good hitters, and I've mentioned the name John Olerud before, who grew up in Washington State. Won a batting championship, almost hit 400, but he could drive the ball to left center to right center. And as Alonso said, I could hit home runs, but I'd have to start my swing earlier and might strike out a little bit more.
The most home runs that Alonso has hit. Just double checking here. 9.
Yep.
And that was in 2012 in San Diego.
Which is a big park.
Yeah. But he's a strong guy. And now 3 and 2.
But I think of hitters in the past. I mean, Ichiro could hit home runs, but he didn't want to. Wade Boggs, probably the most notable Hall of Famer. I mean, he could foul off tough pitches until he got one, but he'd take batting practice at the Coliseum, hit balls in the second deck because he could hit home runs. Carney Lansford. Certain guys just did not. Oof.
Anthony, strike 3 call.
Well, there's a fastball 3 and 2 outside target down the middle, and I think Alonso thought he had drawn a walk. Surprised that it was called a strike. Definitely did not swing, but heights wise, like a pretty good pitch.
Here's Marcus Semien. Curveball for strike. Carnes trying to get a better feel here in the second inning. He threw 35 pitches in the first inning and looked a little off. Gave up a couple of runs on 4 hits. Another curve. So maybe he likes the feel of that curveball right now.
Two of those strikes have been hit with the curveballs, that especially with 2 strikes first inning.
Comes back with a fastball at 93 miles an hour.
So you see the pitch count and you start thinking bullpen.
Another 0-2. Carnes took a step toward the dugout.
He thought he had it. I did too. Yeah. Actually, similar pitches that Valencia took, the 2 strikes.
Breaking ball struck him out. On the first side, retired. So much better inning for Nate Carnes. He gets a couple of strikeouts. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Cruz, Seager, and Iannetta. brought to you by AAA. What is your insurance doing? It's not doing insurance. It should be doing more. Go to AAA.com for more details. Hey, I wrote on that last year.
I remember you did that.
That was really high. Took me about 2 hours to recover emotionally.
Emotionally.
But it was fun.
Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah. I would. Took my family up there, and not everybody was that excited about the height of the giant Ferris wheel. But, well, I felt like I needed to be a leader, you know?
A scared leader?
A scared leader, but a leader nonetheless. 2-1 to Nelson Cruz. 2-2 to Nelson Cruz.
That was his best pitch, that breaking pitch that he threw last Monday to the White Sox. He struggled early, and about the third, fourth pitch, Stephen Vogt called the curveball.
Do it again. It was a high curveball. Cruz strikes out. So 3 early strikeouts for Rich Hill.
Well, this is surprising. I mean, you got a veteran hitter, and he gets the high curveball. Maybe he thought it was going to come down in the zone, but it stayed up, and no contact made.
The pitch selection last start when he went 2 2/3 innings. Facing Kyle Seager, the third baseman. Seager was 0 for 4 with a strikeout last night. It is Seager's brother Corey, who's the young shortstop for the Dodgers. Both left-handed hitters, but in seeing Corey now a little bit, he's very tall. He's a big guy. Kyle's a little bit shorter. He grounds out there.
It's not smart hitting. He's got 3 guys to the right side, only 1 to the left, and he hit it right to him. Not that he attempted it, but the shift put on. I think your description of, well, the Lowry hit beat the shift, and you know it's right there, and you go to the shift, and but I still say a lot of it has to do with the pitcher, how the pitcher and actually catcher are working a hitter, and in certain situations you get with a couple of strikes, I think that changes everything because the hitter changes and how his approach is going to be.
Driven to left center and deep by Chris Iannetta, and that one is gone.
Well, they tried to throw the curveball, came right into his wheelhouse. And a walk-off against the A's last year. This time to left center as a member of the Mariners. He was with the Angels last few years. This one into that party deck and hit it hard. Very hard.
So first home run of the year for Iannetta. For the Mariners, it's their 11th home run this year. And this is their 5th game. And here's Gutierrez. Gutierrez was the DH last night. He's in right field tonight. Rangers and the Angels are underway. That's a 1-1 game in the top of the third. A couple of aces, Hamels and Richards, pitching in that game. Well, if Garrett Richards is pitching tonight, then he will not face the A's next week.
That's right.
A's and the Angels will play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Rangers won last night, and A.J. Griffin got the win. So A.J. Griffin, the 5th starter for Texas, He went 6 innings last night. Got the W. Reddick's got to play it on a hop.
It's good hitting. Fastball outside. He went with it. Stayed outside with the fastball almost off the plate, but Gutierrez waited back and shot it to right field.
So that'll bring up the big fella, Dae-Ho Lee. Lee with the home run last night. Lee is 6'4", 250 pounds. He's 33 years old.
And he put 249.5 pounds into that home run last night.
At least.
If not all 250.
And that hit him. Remember, Rich Hill hit 2 batters in the first inning.
And one of them was Abreu with this similar pitch with back foot. Actually hit him in the back knee, the right knee. But 2 quick outs, a solo home run, a base hit, a hit batter. You cannot let this inning get away from Rich Hill. This was Dae-Ho last night, and he got everything. Eric Surkamp, first hit, first home run, first ribby, first everything.
Two on, 2 out for Leonys Martin. Kurt Young with a quick visit to the mound.
30 seconds.
Yeah, he actually got back. He was about a step from the dugout when it reached 0. So pretty good job by Kurt.
Can't really have a long conversation. Not in 30 seconds. Actually about 20 by the time you get there.
Curve. Martin ducked away from it a little bit, but it was in for a strike.
Thinks it's going to hit him and broke that sharply to get into the strike zone.
1-2.
Carlos Torres has a pitcher-friendly strike zone tonight. And that's where a pitcher and catcher can take advantage of it if you're getting those kind of pitches. And from his mind, he's probably thinking that he's calling good strikes, but it is kind of moving around a little bit, the high and the low, away.
And drop down slider. Martin strikes out on 3 pitches. A run for the Mariners on Chris Ionetta's first home run of the year. 3rd inning coming up. 2-1 A's.
the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to the At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Good app to get.
2-1 A's lead the Mariners in the top of the third. A's first road trip of the year, but it's just a one-city trip. We like those. This will be head back home after the game tomorrow for a week-long homestand. Mariners will stay home, and the Mariners will host the Rangers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So a nice little homestand for the Mariners, but overall they will play 12 of their first 18 games on the road. They got a 9-game road trip coming up starting next Friday.
Cap, you mentioned the Rangers coming in.
Yeah.
That means the Rangers will have played the Mariners 6 times, and the A's have yet to see them. And won't till May.
Coco hit it right on the nose, but Lee grabs it.
Yeah, Coco flat-footed and hit the ball hard, but right to Lee, and thought he had it past him.
So 1 out for Coughlin. Coughlin with a productive out his first at bat. This time he hits it hard, but nothing to show for it. So 2 away here in the third, and that gets us to our Ford Wright choice. Breaking down the last 2 years for Josh Reddick. 2014, he was banged up. He still put together a decent year. Last year, a much better season. 20 home runs, pretty good batting average. Still solid in the outfield.
Well, it's good after 1 game that he DH'd, which was last night, hit the home run. But back in right field for the 2nd game tonight.
Of course, Reddick will be a free agent at the end of this year. Have not heard a whole lot, even in the rumor mill, about if the A's and Reddick have made any progress on a possible new contract. We shall see.
Yeah, I talked to Josh about that, and you know, he had pretty much said spring training, that's it, I'm not going to be distracted, as hitters or players will say, but it's really not the player negotiating, it's his agent or his representation. And so they would be talking to David Force, Billy Bain, somebody in the A's front office, and then, as Josh said, if they come to me and something's okay, then we'll talk.
Sure.
So it really does not allow for any distraction for the player. Just let your representation, your representatives do what they're going to do.
And Reddick lays off the pitch, and he takes the walk.
It looked like the Mariners tried to get him to do what he did in the first inning, swinging a pitch outside, out of the strike zone. But looked like Josh was trying to drive in the run in the first inning and expanded the zone to the point he couldn't make contact.
So here's Valencia, who had a 2-out RBI single knocking in the A's first run. Carnes, he does take a long time. It's very deliberate. Valencia sick of waiting. Cano slid over behind second base. Good curve that time.
Exact same pitch he hit for a base hit with 2 strikes his first at bat. That's a different approach usually a hitter has up until 2 strikes. And talk to most hitters, they'll say, I look fastball, make an adjustment on the breaking ball, but until you get 2 strikes, You can look fastball. If you get the breaking ball, you can take it, as Valencia just did.
Through it again. So the count 0-2. Fastball is high. This is the 6th game of the year for the A's, and Valencia, Lowry, and Simeon are the 3 A's players who have started each game. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Strikeout number 4 for Carnes. A's leave a runner in the top of the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd coming up, and it'll be the top of the order for Seattle.
And he can look like Sonny Gray with his very own striped socks. Presented by Black Bear Diner at the A's First Little League Day. Sunday, April the 17th, 15,000 fans will receive a pair of striped socks made famous by A's ace Sonny Gray. Get more information and purchase tickets today at athletics.com/promotions, or you can call 877-493-BALL. Bet he's there. I bet he's getting his striped socks to wear with a striped hat. Probably get a striped shirt and be called a referee.
He'll have something for us. 2-1. A's leading. First pitch is a strike to Aoki. Singleton was caught stealing in the first inning. And it is, hangs those hands right out over home plate.
I like to see hitters also. You can see Aoki, before the first pitch was thrown, had the close-up of his face. His eyes were kind of darting back and forth to see where the infielders were positioning him. And a lot of that times that would determine what the hitter's going to do. He may try to bunt if he sees them playing back in a certain area.
Slowly hit. This is going to be a tough play. Alonso will hustle to the bag, and he did not quite get there. He dove with the glove. Jerry Davis called him safe.
Well, as Alonso said, he had the ball in his glove and he got there before, and Mark Conce from Adam Roden upstairs as video coordinator. Great play by Alonso. Goes to the bag. And if the glove's there, he's out. And that's what he said, because any part of the glove touching the bag, that's part of what would be considered an out.
Well, it looked like, it's a great look there, that the glove just got there right before.
And really, I don't know that Rich Hill, if he had flipped the ball to him, if he'd been able to get there in time. Can Jerry Davis be 0 for 2?
And Jerry's not happy right now.
Well,
it's a good look here.
This is a good one, because the glove, he's trying to go to the bag. Stretch, 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 stretch. And if his glove is there, then he's out. I'm going to say called out. All right. Great play. 0 for 2, Jerry. It's good. I like it. He does it, but that is a great call. And immediately, Kipe, I think we may have had the quickest challenges. Again, we look at it. So they determined on the replay that his glove right there was on the bag before Aoki got to the bag with his foot. But those are two very quick calls from upstairs to the bench coach to the challenge. And in both cases, one was safe, one was out.
So it goes as a 3 unassisted. He's not happy, I'm telling you. Right now would not be a good time to
and you know,
say, hang with them, Jerry.
The good thing about it, they can't do anything about it, because the challenges are probably forever now. I mean, they're going to be there. Another game.
And that was not an easy play.
No, it wasn't. Oh, this is a better look there. Oh, that's what New York saw. That's what they saw right there, that angle, because the foot wasn't on. But even though the glove touched it and then went a little bit higher, the glove actually got to the bag before Aoki did. Saw the game, Houston and Milwaukee last night. Another game.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
Well, Rasmus didn't even come close, unfortunately for him, and it didn't have to, because they weren't going to turn.
But did you think it was I mean, was that a legit, under the new rules, did you think that was a legitimate bad slide? Bad slide being,
according to the new rules, yes, because he went past the bag. That's the key. When these guys go past the bag and they don't hang on, I think it's kind of an automatic. Unless it was like Jose Bautista, who grabbed Forsythe's ankle as he came across.
Yeah,
but the key, I think, Kipe, is the way they're determining that. If you slide and you go past the bag, it's kind of the Utley, because what Utley did, he went past and hit the young man.
Yeah, but Utley started his slide past the bag. So 2 outs as Marte strikes out for the second time. Now, I do have a question, and I wasn't sure. Did on that play where Rasmus is called out, and so both guys are called out, end of the game. Did the second baseman, shortstop, who was ever at the pivot, did he throw it to first?
No.
See, that was an argument that I read today. It was like, well, he didn't even attempt to throw it to first.
But you know, also, Kipe, whenever the Giants and the A's were playing and Belt in San Francisco slid, they called him out before the throw was made. But
well, I understand, but the continuation, the throw was actually made. He was trying to attempt to complete the double play.
The Belt play.
Yeah, they're saying.
But he did.
The argument for that play in Milwaukee was that the middle infielder wasn't even trying to complete the double play by throwing it to first. Right field, that's trouble. Reddick to the corner, and it drops fair, and one hops up into the seats.
That's good for the A's, because Cano was all over it. He dropped down, and you figure if a left-handed hitter drops down to a pitcher drops down to a left-hand hit, he's going to throw the breaking ball, but he left it inside. Very rarely does a guy drop down and throw a fastball, but he hung the curveball and slider. Fortunately, had the top spin that didn't make it out. I thought it was going to be a home run, but it kept hooking, and the top spin. If you're going to throw that, you have to throw it almost off the plate outside, as he did to Martin last inning to strike him out. But I understand what you're saying, because last night the surprising thing was Jeanette threw to second. It was a close play anyway, very, very surprising play, and it was just trying to tag. But I think the way they interpret the rule, that if the guy slides and he does go past the bag, that's what they're looking at, regardless of throw or not. But I agree if there's no throw. But I think in the case of Belt sliding in San Francisco, if whoever was at second base had heard the umpire call him out, he wouldn't have had to throw at the time, but he did complete the throw, and it was a double play regardless. But it's a rule that's tough to interpret.
It's already controversial.
Very. 2 games have ended that way.
Reddick comes in. He's got it side retired. So Cano is stranded after the double, and we are on to the 4th inning from Safeco. A's 2, Mariners 1. Only T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. 2-1, top of the 4th inning. Vogt, Lowry, and Davis to hit against Nate Carnes, who has settled down after a rocky first inning. Outside corner strike to Vogt, who singled in the first. Vogt now 3 for 14 to start the season. Cues that one foul toward Ron Washington. Each team with 4 hits, no errors so far in the game. The pitch count for Carnes pretty high, 67.
And I think he would like to tell his manager, pitching coach, let's forget about the pitch count tonight, because his pitching's better. Took him a little while to get going.
35 pitches in the first inning.
Well, breaking ball to the dirt, and Steven, good call by Rob Drake at third base, according to the no swing.
Got him swinging. Off speed pitch.
Turn back the clock to 1981 on April the 16th when the A's take on the world champion Royals. 15,000 fans will receive a Stephen Vogt 1981 replica jersey. It's presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Throwback to the Billy Ball era, the jersey features Oakland on the front, Vogt on the back, while paying homage to one of the greatest periods in franchise history. Visit athletics.com/tickets today. Always a good one to get it. Like you said, they turn back the clock later.
Yeah, August, I believe.
Yeah, you get the jersey early, and then later they have the actual turn back, so you can wear your jersey proudly.
Cano backhands, and that's the second out. So we'll see the Royals next weekend. The homestand will be, as we mentioned, the Angels Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then the A's have an off day at home. Isn't that nice? That'll be Thursday. And then the Royals Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So an early look at the world champs.
As Bob Melvin pointed out, and as he has talked about the bullpen and just in general, he says, you know, the A's play the first 10 days of the season, 10 straight games. And, you know, while people can say, what's wrong with that? Well, it affects the bullpen. It affects everybody. And trying to get everybody to continue to play and stay sharp.
Chris Davis doesn't wait around. First pitch single.
I think Karn should be happy that this is a single, because this is a hanger that he usually hits very hard and deep to left field. Instead, back up the middle, past the shift where Cano was a little bit to the right side or closer to short.
And here's Alonso. And after that Royals series, Ray, then you got a nice, challenging East Coast road trip. 3 in New York, 3 in Toronto, and 4 in Detroit. That's 3 pretty good teams. Weather could be a factor. Of course, not in Toronto, but certainly in New York and Detroit. So a homestand followed by a long road trip. That's what it looks like. And they'll all be on TV right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. A day game on Wednesday against the Angels. Alonso struck out looking in the second inning. He's now 2 for 15 to start the season. So a little bit of a slow start, but it's very, very early. Hits that one hard. Backhanded by Cano. Throw to first. What a play. Robinson Cano, smooth as ever. He ranged far, and I mean far, to his right to make a nice play. Frost brewed Coors Light. Lowest opponent's average on fastballs at the end of last year. How about that? Rich Hill first. Remember, Hill made a handful of starts last year with the Red Sox, and he was terrific.
Yeah. Enough that he wanted to start, and that's why the A's gave him the opportunity. And even Craig Breslow, a reliever who never started, was attempted to come back as a starter this year. I think he signed with somebody and has an out coming up pretty soon if he not in the rotation. But you know, normally it's the other way. You start and then you go to the bullpen, but it's a little bit different for Rich Hill and also for a pitcher to wear number 18. Jared Parker wearing number 11. Usually they have higher numbers.
In his career, this is his 76th career start. Rich Hill. At the beginning of his career, he was a starter, and then in 2010 is when he became a reliever and had some success. Most starts he ever made in a season was 32. That was in 2007 with the Cubs. And he's been around a while. 36 years old is Rich Hill. Seager, Iannetta, and Gutierrez here in the bottom of the 4th inning for Seattle. And now 3-0. Strike outside corner. Seager thought maybe it was off the plate.
A little surprised that he was even taking that much instead of trying to drive the ball. Figured he's going to get a fastball on 3-1, and he'll nail the outside corner. Like Seager was going to be happy with the walk.
Missed inside with a fastball, so leadoff walk. That's the first walk for Hill. He's got 5 strikeouts. And now Iannetta steps in. He homered in the 2nd. Good pitch there, in on the hands of Iannetta. Astros hung on to beat the Brewers 6-4. A couple of home runs for Colby Rasmus, so he was mad about his bad slide last night. He hit a couple of home runs today. Doug Fister got the win for Houston. He went 5 innings. It was interesting, Ray. Astros made that big trade this offseason, get Ken Giles, a young closer from the Phillies. He gave up a pretty good package to get him. Turns out Giles did not pitch well in spring training, and when it was decision time, who should be the closer, A.J. Hinch said, you know what, Gregerson's my closer, because he was the incumbent.
That's right.
Gregerson got the save, his 2nd. And Iannetta is called out on strikes. I'm not sure he totally agrees with that. And as Ray said, it's a fairly big strike zone tonight.
Well, a little bit of a delay also, and Stephen Vogt holding it, and then Torres just in the last incident. And when the umpire has that kind of a delay, that's when hitters, people in general, say, well, if it's a strike, why wouldn't you call it earlier?
So with 1 out, Gutierrez steps in. 6 strikeouts for Hill. So the Astros get their 2nd win of the year. Swing and a miss by Gutierrez. Rangers leading the Angels 2-1, top of the 5th. Adrian Beltre with a home run for Texas. A little late.
You know, to your point about the Astros and using Gregerson, Luke signed a couple-year contract with him, and he said, why should I lose my closer job, even though they did get Giles, but Giles is, I think, 2 years away from arbitration.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, so, you know, start factoring in if he's a closer versus setup, you know, the salary structure. But if he's as good as they gave up players for him.
What a play. Out at second, on to first. Double play.
Wow, what a play. Wow.
Simeon diving to his left, and Lowry was able to turn it, and that was a thing of beauty. 6-4-3. I want to see it again. That's how good it was. Hockey coverage of the Coyote Sharks game. It's airing right now on CSN Plus, which can be found on Comcast 105, DirecTV channel 696-1, Dish 454, and AT&T channel 692. For DirecTV, Dish, and AT&T viewers in Sacramento, coverage of the Thunder Kings game is airing right now on CSN Plus. That can be found on... Thank you, Aoki. That can be found on DirecTV channel 698-1. Dish channel 453 and AT&T channel 768. If you can't find CSN Plus, make sure you log on to csncalifornia.com or call your local cable provider. There you go. It is a busy, busy month of April at CSN. There's shows just flying out of that building. Well, the crews, whether it's our great crew for the A's or for the Giants, Warriors, Sharks, Kings. It's always a hectic month and everybody does a terrific job.
But you'd rather have the problem because teams are in postseason.
That's
and,
right, sure.
You know, playoffs.
Sharks are going to the playoffs. Obviously, the Warriors are going.
I get to see the Sharks fans start growing beards. Hockey beard?
Not all Sharks fans. I mean, I'm a Sharks fan, but I will not be growing a beard.
Well, I guess. Well, how would you describe the hockey playoff beard? Is that just something that certain people do?
It's indescribable. Coming in, and it's going to fall in front of Leonis Martin, who got a good jump on it. And Coco gets his second hit.
Just kind of served it out into center field, but I agree with you with the jump that Martin got. He's kind of over right center, but a good jump, but the ball a little bit on a line drive, and I think that's what determines whether an outfielder would go for a ball or not. It's going to be sinking quickly, which it was.
In the first inning, Coco stole his 300th career base. It's part of the A's scoring a couple times. Here's Coughlin. interesting note on Coughlin, Ray. He's been in the lineup 3 consecutive games now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And on Thursday, he started at second base. Last night, he started in right field. Tonight, he's starting in left field. And that's part of the master plan by Bob Melvin.
And Coughlin likes it, as all players, and I will put them in a utility player category. They're everyday players playing different positions. But Chris Coughlin loves it, and he's a smart baseball player. I mean, he was talking about some things that you just don't see and hear players talk about, and how they move their feet and what they look for in certain situations.
And you wonder too, Ray, if the Cubs don't sign Ben Zobrist, Coughlin's probably still with the Cubs.
Exactly.
Zobrist signed in the offseason, and then Coughlin came over after that in a trade.
You don't need 2 Ben Zobrist, and that's what they had in Chris Coughlin, who I think you said is a free agent at the end of this year. So Cubs probably felt they could get what they could.
Coco runs, pitches a ball, throw to second base is late. Another steal for Coco. Uh-oh. Did we have a come off the bag situation? Huh.
Well, Marte immediately came up, and they're going to say no. He thought he got him, but his hand was already on the bag. Check the left hand of Coco. At the time he tagged him on the back, he thought, well, he couldn't tell whether Coco was on the bag or not. So that's why he did what he did, and Scott Service did what he did, and not going to waste one.
There's a strike. 3-1.
It's the same 2-0 count in the first inning. The Coco ran. Coughlin took the pitch.
Reddick to follow. Pitch number 84 for Nate Carnes. Good swing there on a fastball that was just moving away from Coughlin a little bit.
Marcus Semien, the dive to his left from his stomach, threw it to Lowry. And you know, Jed Lowry also, watch Lowry take his time. He could have rushed, but remember the neighborhood plays in also a part of baseball now, so he had to keep his foot on the bag. He waited, but Marcus Semien started with a great dive, flipped while he was on his stomach, and got the double play started.
3-2 pitch is poked to left field. Aoki on the move toward the line, and he'll get there to make the catch. So 2 outs for Reddick. Reddick, a strikeout and a walk. He's got a couple 2-out RBI hits in that first inning. They're a thing of beauty. High strike ball. We've seen Reddick poke the ball to left field quite a bit. He did a lot last year. Got a hole at the shortstop spot.
Well, at least with Reddick, they're staying outside with everything, with the shift to the right, expecting him to pull the ball on the ground at least.
That swing, it almost looked like he was looking to left field. That's a great note on Josh Reddick. Tells you how far he has come as a hitter.
65 of his hits went to center and left field. 63 pulled.
Coco inches off second base. 1-2 pitch is low. And the Mariners are going to need a lot of bullpen work again tonight. Scrambles after it.
This is where a third time through the batting order. You can imagine at one time when there was really not a bullpen, starter went through the lineup 4 times, and you can just see Reddick a little bit more comfortable taking the curveballs in the dirt, the curveballs that are down, unlike what he did in his first at bat when he struck out with a run at third. It was on a fastball away from him, but once again another 3-2 count. Good block by Iannetta. But that's getting a little bit more familiar with the pitcher that you're seeing him now for the 3rd time tonight.
Driven to right. Gutierrez is going to watch, and that baby is gone. A long home run for Reddick, and it's 4-1 the A's lead.
Well, Kipe, I think the fact that he took the curveball so well, they decided maybe not to try to get him swinging another bad one. So he crushed a fastball. Fastball, and see you later. What a great swing. Very similar last night. I think Josh knew it when he swung and started to trot. That's a feeling. You know it's gone. Just see how far it goes. And that was a long shot. That wasn't just in the first row. Pull the hands in, great extension, and if he was worried about hitting his first home run last night, he got his second one very quickly tonight.
Well, you know, I was thinking with first base open, and Valencia, who's a good hitter, cleanup hitter, but a right-handed hitter on deck, thinking, I don't think he's going to throw him a fastball, but he did.
That's a good point, and you know, just the fact that Reddick was waiting.
0-2 to Valencia.
You know, I think so much comes from the bench now that in the case of the veteran Iannetta, you would think he would be thinking just as you talked about. But it's one of those, you know, you keep getting signs to pitches and what you're going to do. And
we're not saying, well, just walk Reddick and face Valencia. We're saying, well,
bounce another curveball.
Maybe don't throw a fastball.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, you want him to try to hit your pitch.
Yeah.
And if it means bounce a curveball, try to get him to chase. If you walk him, then it's first and second. There are 2 outs. And that's the biggest thing. But point well taken, partner, because you get first base open, you get a left-hander with a right-hander in the on-deck circle. I don't care if it's a cleanup hitter. In fact, he's right. And Reddick is hot, swinging the bat well.
And Valencia cannot hold up. He went around. So
3 curveballs.
Not a great at-bat for Danny Valencia, but a good inning for the A's is Reddick hits a 2-run shot, and it was not a cheapie, folks. So Josh Reddick starting to heat up. We're going to the bottom of the 5th, and the A's lead it 4-1.
The ballpark on a Friday night with the Friday Family Pack. You can get 4 Plaza level tickets. I want you to listen to this because this is a great deal. 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, and 4 bags of peanuts at just $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack, subject to availability. A's back home, Kansas City, Friday night, week from last night. Family Pack, that is a great deal. Family of 4 or 4 people get together and get all those goodies for that great price. That's a great score. 4-1, A's lead.
Lee, Martin, and Aoki here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 6 strikeouts and 1 walk for Rich Hill.
We were talking about these low-scoring games, 1-run games, and that one swing of the bat by Josh Reddick just made it a 3-run game versus a 1-run game, and should help Rich Hill.
That one is ripped to right, but Reddick's there. Well, and if the A's bullpen is as good as we think that it will be, and it's looked pretty darn good early,
yeah.
When you start looking at the game a little different. You look at it, like you said, get 6 innings from the starter.
Yeah. And by the way, as we started that promotion, that promo had a shot of Josh Reddick with his cap off, clapping. It's military appreciation night, and they are doing some videos of military. They have a section, looked like a bunch of Marines sitting together, and while the fans were cheering, so was our right fielder Josh Reddick. He's very supportive of the military, and he showed his appreciation on the field.
It is Salute to Armed Forces Night. They've done a nice job as always here at Safeco.
I'm glad you clarified that. I just went by appreciation, you know. But
you know what? And I didn't want it to sound like I was correcting you. I just
added
gave the official.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because I knew there was an official designation.
So you see, that stuff doesn't bother you. You're not bothered by that stuff. Nice play, huh?
Yeah, great play. And Alonso, he said, and Joey Votto, when in Cincinnati, he's watching Joey Votto try to take the bag as much as possible. This one, impossible. Look at the lead, the feed to Rich Hill. He led him like a quarterback, and you know better than anybody about quarterbacks leading a receiver. How about that? Leading his pitcher to the bag so he could catch the ball, look at the bag, and make the out. But he said Joey Votto, because I asked him about, because we pointed out times when he had taken the ball himself to the bag, and he said Votto told him that anytime you can catch a ground ball and go to the bag yourself without flipping it to a pitcher, you're going to be better off. And we've seen him do it several times, including the one a couple of innings ago when he made a dive and then went to the bag. It's not a balk. There's nobody on base. He's asking if it's a balk. Or is it a ball or a balk that he caught a cleat? But it's no pitch, basically. Check the left foot. No, it's the right foot. His right foot didn't slide. And it looked like the right foot kind of dug into the dirt and nothing happened. But with the runner on base, clearly a balk.
Didn't bother him.
No, it did. That's a good comeback. See that pitch is crossing a lot of the plate to the outside part.
Kind of a sweeping breaking ball, which seems like it would be tough to hit.
Yeah. But the one that he threw, the strike, unlike the one that Cano almost hit out, that's where you want to throw it out there like that.
And that's a good pitch, and that's a good inning. A little defense, finish it with a strikeout. And we're on to the 6th inning from Safeco Field in Seattle. 4-1 A's lead. McDonald's. Ray, you remember this? April 3rd, 1989 in Oakland.
No.
That's Ken Griffey Jr. That was his first major league hit. It was a double. So Dave Stewart, and it was on opening night. There he is. April 3rd, 1989. And he's come full circle and now a Hall of Famer. He will go into Cooperstown this summer, and he will go in as a Seattle Mariner. And here he was last night, throwing out the first pitch. Starting to look a lot like his dad, isn't he?
Yeah. Watch his finish, though, as he throws to Felix Hernandez. Watch this move that he has if we see it. That's what Felix did when he threw his perfect game. That was great. Felix came off the mound, and Griff had it all down. So 106 days to Ken Griffey Jr. And let's not forget Mike Piazza also, who played a year for the A's.
That's right.
And he is also going to Cooperstown as a New York Met.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Parts. Oil changing auto parts leader Tony Zick comes in.
Well, you said it best that it's going to be a bullpen night for the Mariners, and 5 innings for Nathan Carnes. Zick did not pitch last night in a close game down to the wire. Zick, just a good fastball, mid-90s, and it's a backdoor slider.
Tries to hold up, but look at that, 96 with a lot of movement. Tony Zick. Runs off the plate. So Nate Carnes, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. That first inning, it ended up getting him where he threw 35 pitches. So he is out after 5.
Actually, the A's did exactly what Jerry DiPoto, Scott Service, Edgar Martinez been talking about. Good at bats, quality at bats, a lot of pitches, and you know, a lot of times you don't want to go to the bullpen because they're so good, but if you get a starter out after 5 innings, then you have that bridge guy, and he may not be as good as the back end of the bullpen. Again, nothing against Zick or any of the guys in the 6th, 7th innings, but
driven right center, up the alley. Nobody's going to get it. Here comes Stephen Vogt, digging for second, and he'll stop there.
Vogt took a backdoor cut slider, and he questioned the home plate umpire, and then they threw a fastball, and he drilled it to right center. Tried to go front door with a little two-seamer. It did not break, and Stephen Vogt pulled the hands in, and boy, look at that. Is that speed for you or what? Take a look at that. Oh, he's thinking 3 and had to be shut down, but it's okay. He was giving it all the effort. And check the right center field gap, because that's where he smoked it, and nobody even close to getting it.
So a double. You know what, Ray? I think earlier in the year it's a triple for Vogt.
What, spring training? It's the first Saturday of the season. It's game number 6.
Tuesday night, that's a triple.
He didn't play Tuesday night. Maybe that's why it's a triple. It's amazing to hear him talk before the game, and for him to do what he's done in this game. Single sharply in the first inning, hit a curveball with a couple of strikes, and then this fastball for a double.
So 8 hits now for the A's. Double up the Mariners on hits. Lowry an RBI single in the first, a ground out in the 4th. Base hit left field. Aoki charges. They're waving home Vogt. Aoki's throw to the plate is cut off, and that's an RBI single for Jed Lowry, his 2nd of the night, and the A's lead 5-1.
Well, the 2 guys that have left the most tickets into this series are coming through big tonight. That's 4 hits between Vogt and Lowry. And Jed Lowry doing it again, going against the shift, and you'd think you're pitching fastballs away, and you look where the shift is. They're expecting him to pull the ball, hitting it right through the shortstop gap. And Jed Lowry is more of a contact hitter, a doubles hitter and singles. He'll hit some home runs, but go Votey go, because you know you're going to be sent by Ron Washington. He didn't even have to slide, cut the ball off. They were fearful of him being at home before the ball got there.
Lowry, a couple of RBIs tonight. He's got 7 runs batted in this season. There's Chris Davis. He's got a base hit tonight, 1 for 2. Sharp slider, just a little bit low. Davis also hit a fly ball to right field. Royals won at home tonight 7-0 over the Twins. The Twins have not won yet. They're now 0-5. Running fastball. And it's a swing and a miss, 1-2. Ian Kennedy pitched great for the Royals tonight, got the win. Last name in the baseball encyclopedia, Tony Zick.
Your first initial is Z and the next one's Y. That's a pretty good chance.
Hank Aaron on one end, Tony Zick on the other. So he beat Zobrist by like what, 10 letters,
yep.
Give or take.
Yep.
Now Chris Davis is gone.
Sharp slider. One ran up and in, and he had to take it, but
remember Zick came up last year, and we saw him a couple times. He pitched in 13 games at the end of the year for Seattle, and he was good. And the Mariners liked what they saw. I mean, made it this year out of the bullpen. Lee fires to second, a dangerous play, and they get the out at second. Looked like that ball may have whistled right past the head of Jed Lowry. That's not an easy throw to make.
No, and really you have one out already. Take the sure out at first because it's dangerous. At least he caught the ball in front up on the grass, so he had a pretty good angle.
He made a good throw. Arcate just double checking. So fielder's choice for Alonso. He's now at first with 2 outs, and here's Simeon. There's a good slider.
He's got a good one. He continues to throw it, whether it's away from the right-handers or front door to the right-handers.
Simeon a strikeout and a fly ball to left field, and that one spins on the inside corner. Good enough for Carlos Torres, the home plate umpire. Rangers still leading the Angels 2-1, bottom of the 6th in Anaheim. Hamels and Richards, the pitching matchup there. Swing and a miss, he struck him out. So the Zick slider is a good one. But the A's get a run. Vogt a double, Lowry a single, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's now 5-1 A's lead.
Doolittle, rock out with your very own Sean Doolittle Metallica Gnome with sound, presented by Ross. 15,000 fans. Saturday, April 30th game will receive this one-of-a-kind giveaway that actually plays the A's Closers Walkout song. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. Cap, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a popular item.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that has sound, it's like opening up a birthday card, and you get some nice sounds in there.
You like those?
Yeah.
I'm going to get you one. Oh, I missed your birthday was Monday night.
Have to wait a whole year.
Man.
That's all right. The thought's there anyway.
Rich Hill, 7 strikeouts tonight. He's been pretty good, Ray.
Yes, he has, and it's amazing what 5 days when you know you're going to be starting does for you. And even though he had his normal rest before the Monday, but he didn't find out till about 12:30. So everything he wanted to do during spring training and off-season signing with the A's, and especially during spring training when he struggled and everybody was concerned, but tonight, at least through 5 innings, he's shown exactly what he felt he was capable of doing.
Just 1 walk. He's allowed 4 hits. And on Monday night, he did not have great control. He was a little all over the place. Much better tonight. Marte, Cano, and Cruz here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ketel Marte has struck out twice. He had a good night last night. And the 3-2 pitch hits Marte. Well, Hill is trying to get a little extra.
Yeah, tried to throw it too hard inside. Got it almost in the hamstring of the left leg of Marte. As he turns, tried to turn away, but got him in the green grass stain on the left side of his uniform.
So Cano will step in. Marte's going to try to walk it off a little bit. So Rich Hill will now try to navigate through the big hitters in this Mariners lineup. Cano, first pitch swinging, lofts one foul into the 2nd level. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays for the 2nd day in a row in Toronto, 8-4. Porcello over Dickey.
So they've been on the road this week, so they must be going home Monday for the opener.
Yeah,
is that it?
They have not been at home yet, the Red Sox.
Probably waiting for the snow to melt at Fenway.
Man, bad weather in the Midwest today, boy, and it was a couple games being played. It was tough to watch. Yankees beat the Tigers 8-4 in Detroit. Sabathia got the win, Pelfrey the loss. A-Rod hit a home run, his first of the year, career home run number 688. So the Yankees win in Detroit in literally freezing weather. It was 31 degrees, Ray, with 18-mile-an-hour winds in Detroit. Game was played, and the Yankees got the win. 31 degrees.
That's usually called unplayable.
That's pretty darn close to being unplayable.
Yeah, especially with the wind chill on top of it.
Cano swings and misses. Big out there for Hill. He gets his 8th strikeout.
And you notice that time he did not drop down. He stayed up on top with a breaking ball, threw it away from Cano. Right there. Watch how far this ball breaks away. He tried to reach and maybe the ball out of the strike zone. But the previous at bat, he maybe learned a lesson about dropping down to throw the breaking ball. Stayed in the middle part of the plate in and almost hit it out. So he's mixing, and you know, Monday night, Captain, granted, was a tough night for Rich Hill when he hit Adam Eaton, but I think it was the 3rd pitch of the game. Stephen Vogt called that pitch, and that changed everything. And that's just a good catcher. Instead of staying with a fastball, he said, it's not working. Let's go to the breaking ball. Stephen called it, and Kind of got him on track at that time, and even better tonight as he calls for another curveball.
Cruz into right field for a hit. Marte will stop at second. So Nelson Cruz gets his first hit in this series as he rolls one into right field. But a pretty good job of hitting by Cruz.
Yeah, the curveball, he stayed inside. Remember the high curveball he struck out on his first at bat, but a huge hole on the right side. And that hit, and the base runners are going to get the A's bullpen moving around a little bit out in left field under the Edgar's porch.
Kurt Young's on the clock.
Yeah, see Rich Hill, Rita's left said, "I'm okay." And remember, he didn't throw that many pitches, 66 pitches in his start on Monday night, in just 2 2/3 innings.
Even with that, Ryan Dahl is getting loose quickly.
He's maxed out as soon as he makes his first pitch. I mean, he's airing it out quickly.
So Seager steps in. Seager has grounded out and he has walked. Marte at second, Cruz at first. Outside to Kyle Seager. White Sox beat the Indians 7-3 in Chicago. Chris Sale got his second win. Threes and weather in Chicago as well. It was 32 degrees at first pitch on the south side.
They gave away that special hat to that cap with the big ears going down the side. That was a giveaway. They needed it.
It was, the weather was so bad it was icy in the upper deck of
really
U.S. Cellular Field. They closed the upper deck. Everybody moved down to the lower deck because there was, it was freezing literally, and the steps were icy and it becomes very dangerous. And those steps are really steep. We've been there. But they closed the whole upper deck in Chicago.
Huh. Made a lot of people happy.
Hey, that's an upgrade for some people. 2-1 to Seager. Swing. Missed. Took something off, did Hill.
It's a great breaking ball, especially throwing a 2-1 fastball count. He pitches backwards, throwing a good breaking ball, and Seager had thoughts of right field seats for that one.
Iannetta is the on-deck hitter.
Stephen Vogt went 3-1-3, and he wants to go through him again, because maybe he wanted to call a pitch that he didn't.
Got him swinging. 9 strikeouts for Rich Hill.
Well, he stayed with it, and Stephen Vogt himself said, let's go through the signs again to make sure. Call the breaking ball and a big sweeping curveball. Seager waiting a long time but could not make contact, and that is a great pitch, working very well tonight for Rich Hill.
So one more big out to get. That's Iannetta. 93 pitches for Hill.
Bob Melvin showing some confidence in his left-hander and trying to get him through these 6 innings and maybe turn it over to the bullpen for the last 3.
Well, Dahl is ready out there. Vogt will come back, but it'll be into the seats. Up 10 rows back.
This could be a last batter. I don't know that Bob Melvin would want the potential tying run to come to the plate, and that's exactly what would happen if Iannetta finds a way to get on. One of the things about his curveball slider to left-handers, he can throw at various speeds and have success. To a right-hander, whether it's Cruz, who singled on a curveball to right field, or Iannetta hit the home run, it's a slower type breaking ball coming into the hitter. So he's staying with the fastball, not a bad idea.
Marte, the runner at second, he was hit by a pitch. Cruz, the runner at first, he's singled. Outfield playing Iannetta straight away. Hill trying to get through the 6th inning. And now full count, so the runners will be on the move.
2nd inning, Chris Iannetta, first pitch breaking ball, kind of a hard slider that stayed up, not the curveball, but the slider stayed up, and that made it a 2-1 A's lead. Seeing all the breaking pitches that he's taken. Found a fastball back. Rich Hill, you got nothing to hold back right here. Pitch number 99 coming up, and batter is probably your last regardless. Make it a good one. Chris Bassett Tuesday night went back and forth, and he didn't go out. Stephen Vogt immediately went out to talk to him, and you know, something probably that the two catchers discussed. As Todd Frazier said, he's shaking. He doesn't want to throw the fastball. He wants to throw a curveball and throw a good one. Ended up being a 3-run home run. So this is a crucial pitch. Better to talk about it.
And a breaking ball, and Iannetta hit it hard, but he was out in front.
Everybody clap your hands.
So we'll do 3-2 again. Here it is. Another breaking ball struck him out.
Well, a hard slider that time.
So 10 strikeouts for Rich Hill, a couple of runners stranded in the 6th, and what a performance by the veteran left-hander. 5-1 after 6.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Hey, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Know it all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. We'll have all the highlights from this A's-Mariners game. Warriors and the Grizzlies going at it. Warriors looking for win number 71. Unbelievable. And the Sharks and the Coyotes in San Jose. Kelly Johnson, Henry Wolford were host.
Star of the night right there, Rich Hill. on his 100th pitch, recorded his 10th strikeout of the night. And really one of the best things that he and Stephen Vogt did after the one curveball that Iannetta pulled foul, came right back with a harder breaking ball. And Iannetta, being a catcher, figuring, well, he threw one breaking ball, he's not going to come back. He backed it up with another one. It turned out to be an outstanding slider. And he swung and missed. It's a good 6 innings for Rich Hill.
Zip stays in the game, his second inning of work. Gave up a run in the 6th, and also had a couple of strikeouts. Crisp, Coghlan, and Reddick. Coco's done his thing tonight. 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. Also starting in center field for the 2nd time this year. He's also made a start in left field. Hits that one hard, but foul.
Good jumps by Coco Chris, stealing. First one, number 300 career. Second one, excellent. The second one right here, and then that was the first, and here's the second, because Marte thought the bounce, he had got him on the backside, but he did not. And it's clearly his hand got on the bag before the tag was made. Because if you're sitting on your backside and you're putting the tag back, you can't really see where the runner is, and it turned out Coco was on the bag. What a performance by that young man, Rich Hill. I think he's done, but he probably told the skipper he could go back out. And I think 6 great innings from him might be just what the manager had wanted.
And Coco swings and misses the foul tip. So 1 away here in the 7th inning.
Good hard sinker going away from Coco, and he just flicked at it and had no chance to make solid contact.
So Coghlan hits. Chris Coghlan looking for his first hit tonight. Couple of ground outs and a fly ball to left field. Coughlin's old team, the Cubs, beat Zach Greinke tonight 4-2. Zach Greinke has lost his first 2 starts with Arizona. Greinke pitched really well tonight, gave up some runs early. Expectations pretty high when you sign a contract for $206 million, and you're a pitcher, which means you're only going to go out there once every 5 days. Greinke will do just fine in Arizona, but starts the season 0-2. On the ground in the hole. Marte, a nice play, throws wide. Lee up, grabs it, and tags Coghlan. Nice play on both ends. Ketel Marte was shifted over towards second base, so he had a range to his right and backhanded.
Through on the run, and definitely a nice play by Lee at first base. And every time I see that play, I think of Roberto Alomar, because he could go down and slide quicker than anybody. As soon as he saw the first baseman have to come off the bag. Robbie, a Hall of Famer. Marte, as he made the play, got something in his eyes.
Well, that's a good point. But if you're going to slide head first or feet first, however you want to do it in the first, to try to avoid a tag, you have to do it early enough where you can avoid the tag.
Exactly.
And it's hard to see that the throw is bad early enough.
But you watch the first baseman.
Yeah.
Because once he comes off and he jumps, the only way he can make the out is to tag. Yeah. And at that point, and Robbie was so good because he was kind of running low to the ground anyway. And as soon as he saw that, he'd just go down straight. I mean, he could actually fall down and then touch the bag because the momentum of the first baseman couldn't reach him anyway.
Zick has a 3-up, 3-down inning. We have reached the 7th inning stretch from Safeco Field. Good so far. He's leading 5-1.
Rich Hill, his second start as a member of the Athletics. Let's forget about start number 1 because tonight was his first start. He threw 100 pitches, and on pitch number 100, he struck out his 10th bat on a 3-2 hard slider to Chris Iannetta. You're going to see his last pitch, his last strikeout. But what a performance by Rich Hill tonight. Got some run support. Big curveball there to the lefty. This is it. Pitch number 100, 10th strikeout for Rich Hill, our Honda player of the game, and very deservedly because Rich Hill was outstanding.
Well, Bob Melvin checks the card and he says it's time to go to the bullpen, and he has done that. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. It's the right-hander Ryan Dull who's making his 4th appearance. Good 3 innings so far. No hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Dull did not pitch last night. Last night it was Rodriguez, Axford, Doolittle, and Madsen. So Bob Melvin used 4 relievers last night for 4 2/3 innings. Tonight he'll try to get 9 outs. So the throw goes down. Gutierrez is the scheduled hitter, but we're going to get some right-handed or make that left-handed pinch hitters. We saw it last night in the 9th inning, and we're seeing it the same here in the 7th. As Seth Smith steps in, he will hit for Gutierrez. Adam Lind is in the on-deck circle, and he will hit for Lee. Smith struck out against Madsen on 3 pitches in the 9th inning last night. It was kind of a see you later in that bat. He saw some nasty stuff from Madsen. 12 home runs last year for Seth Smith. Good pitch, and it's 0-2. Pitchers that did not pitch last night were Dull, Hendricks, and Zaginski.
Really, the manager can go and mix and match with the 7 guys in the bullpen.
Grounded to second. Lowry scoops it up, and that's out number 1. Good note early. Bully on the bullpen for the A's. That's the numbers so far. Liam Hendricks, the only one with poor numbers, and that was 1 inning where he just got knocked around.
And he had to take one for the team because Bob Melvin was quoted afterwards by saying he was going to be out there and somebody had to do it because he wasn't going to use 3 guys, and at that point he just took one, and doesn't help his ERA, but the rest of the guys, and even Liam Hendricks, good enough. What he did in the first game when he came on the bases loaded and 1 out, got Jimmy Rollins a double play, and then retired 6 consecutive after that.
So Adam Lind pinch hitting for Lee. Lind ended last night's game with a strikeout. Ryan Dull.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The final game of the season last year, game 1 by the Mariners by 1 run. Ryan Dull gave up a Seth Smith home run.
I think you're right.
To win it, and then where Seth Smith last night, a strikeout victim, and Ryan Dull gets him tonight. That was then a meaningless game, but much more meaningful now in the early part of the season. Both clubs out of it last September at the end of the year.
Lynn back up into the crowd to keep the count at 2-2. Rangers have added a couple of runs. They lead the Angels 4-1 now, going to the 8th inning. So a full count with Martin to follow.
Rindell's been working on the changeup during spring training. He has the hard slider. Just threw it down and in that Lynn took, and of course he's trying to get the swing over the slider. Goes down and in.
Good swing there by Lynn.
When in doubt, challenge him with a 92. Why mess around? Have a 4-run lead in the 7th inning.
Foul back. I'm looking at Adam Lynn's year last year in Milwaukee, Ray, and he really had a good year. 277, 20 homers, 87 RBIs. Had 32 doubles.
Must have been the thing on his chin.
Huh.
Kept
We didn't
him warm
see
in
him.
Milwaukee.
He was in the National League.
Yeah.
Pretty good numbers. He's always had good power.
Well, scary power, and right now it looks like he's going to say Rindell's going to feature fastballs, and so far, fouling off 4 with a couple of strikes, has not been able to catch up to Dahl's good fastball. You might as well stay with it. You know, sometimes a catcher pitcher are tempted to go to something else, but Stephen Vogt said, no, let's just go to the number 1 down the middle.
Got him in under the hands, and that's 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Make sure you join us tomorrow when the A's wrap up this series here in Seattle. Chris Bassett and Felix Hernandez is your pitching matchup. Coverage begins at 12:30 with A's pregame live. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is CSN. So, King Felix tomorrow.
I like your FF. That was a good one.
Felix Factor.
Yeah.
Tonight's game
Yep.
is an FF game, Felix Factor, meaning
Yep.
you don't want to lose tonight and then have to face Felix Hernandez in the rubber game of the series.
You know, Cap, we've talked about it, and I think we've all agreed that if you can win and force Felix to feel he has to win, pitch well to avoid a sweep. And that's what tonight's game can do, because the A's won last night. The A's win tonight, going to tomorrow looking for the sweep. It's a little bit added pressure on the King. You saw that record of 0-1 with a 150 ERA, but he had 5 walks in his first start in Arlington.
Always a good scene when
Oh, yeah.
Hernandez pitches here in this ballpark. Fans really get into it.
King's Court will probably be in session down the left field line, left field corner. When he pitches at night, they sometimes have the night court.
The night court.
Yeah.
Ah. Swing and a miss on a high heater. Good inning for Ryan Dull. Couple of strikeouts. A's pitchers have 12 strikeouts tonight. We're moving to the 8th from Safeco 5-1 Athletics.
Deals in town with Rapid Deal Days presented by Baltimore. $5 tickets are available for select home games with this one-of-a-kind promotion. Visit athletics.com/Bart today because these tickets will not last. So you have the Friday family pack, and how about a Bartable trip to the Friday family pack? I mean, what a deal. I mean, you got everything, and it's Bartable. Everything's Bartable in the Bay Area. You know?
Yeah,
Okay, you know.
for the most part. Lefty Vidal Nuno comes in. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Nuno first pitch is low. Nuno. Adam Lind stays in the game at first base. Changeup and a good one. So 1-1 the count to Valencia, who's 1 for 3, RBI single, and a couple of strikeouts. Good swing there. 1-2. Nuno came over in a trade from the Diamondbacks last year. He ended up making 10 starts for the Mariners in 22 appearances out of the bullpen. Starting the year out of the bullpen this season. Vidal Nuno.
They went through a lot of pitchers last year, both in the rotation and the bullpen. And as we talked last night under the new manager and general manager, they've completely overhauled their ball club, especially the staff.
There's a shot toward left. Aoki can't get it, dives for it, goes past him all the way to the wall. Valencia will have a double.
Bad play. Wow.
That was not a good play.
No, he had absolutely no chance to catch it, to hold him to a single, keep the double play in order. And he clearly dives for a ball that he had no chance, but a 2-strike fastball. And I mean, it's one thing if you can get your body in front of it. He tried to change direction and put a glove on it, but he had committed. The ball was sinking quickly and turns what should have been a single into a double. But another 2-strike fastball that was hammered hard by an A's player.
Here's Stephen Vogt. Vogt rips one to center, hit a ton. Martin back, still going back, and it's over his head, up against the wall. Valencia rounding third. He will come in to score. Stephen Vogt with an RBI double, and the A's extend their lead to 6-1.
Stephen Vogt with a double to right center, and this one even harder hit to straightaway center field. And Valencia, of course, he knows the center field play of Martin. He thought he's going to catch it, he's going to tag, so he went halfway. Fortunately, did not go all the way back to back because this ball was hit hard, and Martin kind of got turned around and over his head, clearly almost out as it hit the warning track.
There's Lowry. So a couple of doubles for Vogt tonight.
Well, that sounded great, didn't it? That's what you call running hard, sometimes fast.
Occasionally. Slowly hit to third. Seager quick release on first. Lowry's out. So a 3-hit night for Stephen Vogt. He's now with 11 hits. And here's Chris Davis. This is the list of relievers that were with the Mariners last year, Ray, that are not with them this year. Farquhar, Wilhelmsen, Carson Smith, Mark Lowe, Fernando Rodney, and Joe Beimel. They were all with the Mariners at some point last year, most of them the whole season. So you think the A's overhauled their bullpen? The Mariners did even more.
Montgomery is in the bullpen. He started last year for the Mariners. Nuno, as you mentioned, started some games in the bullpen now this year. Sick a little bit, but they've got a whole bunch of between starters and relievers.
Remember, they traded Ronis Elias, the young left-hander, to Boston. Carson Smith was kind of the big name. Carson Smith is a really good young reliever, right-hander. They traded him to Boston for Wade Miley, so a reliever for a starter. And Carson Smith, I believe, is on the disabled list. So Chris Davis is out on strikes. So he's 1 for 4 now.
Backdoor slider and caught the middle part of the plate down in the lower part of the zone.
A's hitters have struck out 10 times tonight. So Alonso faces the lefty Nuno. Big bouncer, and it's Marte with the shift on. Side retired. Back-to-back doubles by Valencia and Vogt, and that gets the A's their 6th run of the night. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 6-1 Athletics. This game summary is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 6-11-0 for the Athletics, 1-5-0 for the Mariners. Great start for Rich Hills. 10 strikeouts in 6 innings. Good night for Coco Crisp in the leadoff spot. 3 hits for Stephen Vogt. And for Nathan Carnes, he threw 95 pitches in 5 innings. So the A's 6 outs away from making it 2 in a row over the Mariners here in Seattle. It's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So the lefty Mark Zepchinski comes in for his 3rd appearance. And I think Bob Melvin has it charted out. And he's got his fingers crossed that he could use maybe Zepchinski here in the 8th, maybe Liam Hendricks in the 9th, and then he's got all his relievers in the first 2 games of this series, which is nice. Valencia playing in. Naoki on 1 pitch is retired.
You know, I think it also shows a lot of confidence in all of the relievers, not just a few. And you know, I think last year, and unfortunately, there were guys who came in the ball game that kind of added fuel to the fire, which is something that you don't want your bullpen to have to do. And so this year, he's got 7 guys that he can go to, and I mean, everybody feels they're a big part of it. And I know one of the happiest guys is Scott Emerson, bullpen coach. He goes down there. He's ecstatic because now the bullpen or the call comes from the bench. You know, he's raring to go. Take your pick. Who wants to get up?
Yeah, he's in charge down there. He really runs the bullpen.
Yep.
If you don't believe me, he'll tell you that he runs the bullpen. We love that guy.
Yeah. Scott Emerson, Phil Pohl to his right is the new bullpen catcher.
See, they're taking notes. They're getting. They want to know the lineup, who's facing who. You think these guys just sit around and one guy just catches the pitches, the other guy just answers the phone? That is not the case.
Yeah, they're charting. They're ready to go.
Locked in.
Phil was a catcher. He's only 25. And Casey got in Arizona with a family, and so Phil was available.
He looks like a catcher, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Looks like a young Ray Fosse.
And they're not playing tic-tac-toe either.
They are not.
No, they're doing the pitches and take a lot of pride in the bullpen, and guys coming in, and Emo just happy to have that left-handed catcher's mitt. He hopes he never has to use it.
Long-time pitcher.
Yeah.
With Mike Montgomery. Three-two pitch. More action for Valencia. Stays down nicely. Slings it across. 2 outs.
Larry just reminded me that Phil Paul is from Cooperstown. Jeff Idelson, the president of the Hall of Fame, actually came into Arizona because he wanted to see Phil. I mean, there's not that many players come out of Cooperstown. I mean, a lot of players hope to go there.
You want to go there? You just don't want to be from there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but Phil is from there. That's pretty neat to have the president of the Hall of Fame make a special trip. I'm going down to Arizona to see what's going on. Oh, by the way, I'm going to check it on Phil. And that's not Punxsutawney Phil either. So
that's a big deal. You're right.
Yeah. Well, 2 will be going there this July. At least 2 players. Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza sliding into third and hurting his shoulder in Boston.
Mike Lowell.
Yeah. Kind of an accidental play. Just fell on his shoulder. Mike was out for quite a while.
Yeah.
I think that opened up the door for Jack Cust, did it not?
Jack Cust had an out in his contract. He was at Portland. And his out was, if he gets a chance to go to the big leagues, he can get out of his AAA contract. And he showed up and hit a home run to left center, St. Petersburg, Florida, when the A's went down to Tampa Bay after that.
Jack Cust.
Yeah. The mighty Jack Cust.
Is he still playing? I don't know either.
But I know he and his dad had a huge baseball academy, and they taught a lot of. They did a lot of teaching with regard to hitting. And
Jack Cust was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you know, it would have been a fun pairing. Would have been Cust and Vogt. They would have made you laugh.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. A little dry humor.
Yeah. 3-1 to Cano. Zubczynski trying to have a 3-up, 3-down inning. Ryan Dole had one. Mark Zubczynski. Behind the bag, Alonso takes it himself. Nice inning for Mark Zubczynski. So the bullpen at it again, and it's 6-1 as we go to the ninth. California.com. Each week, it's our A's insider Joe Stiglitz, who's talking baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. The A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz on CSNCalifornia.com. It's also available on iTunes. Check out Joe Stiglitz. Check him out on the website. Super Joe. Super Joe. Ninth inning, and it is a 6-1 A's lead. Another lefty comes in out of the bullpen for Seattle, and it's Mike Montgomery. I mentioned Montgomery in the bullpen this year after making 16 starts for the Mariners last year. Just his second appearance. With Furbush, main left-hander, on the disabled list for a while. Right now, the Mariners are going with Montgomery and Nuno as their lefties in the bullpen. Montgomery made some news last year. Remember, he had back-to-back shutouts.
That's right. Yep.
He beat the Royals and the Padres, and he was rolling. He got off to a great start. Struggled a little bit as the season went on. He had a terrific month of June. Statistically, one of the better pitchers in the American League. Then he was acquired, Montgomery, from Tampa Bay in exchange for Erasmo Ramirez, the little right-hander, high in the air toward left center. And at the time, he didn't think much about it. Probably thinking, well, Seattle maybe got the better end of that deal. Turns out Ramirez has pitched really well for the Rays. Erasmo Ramirez. So to the top of the order, and Coco Crisp, who's 2 for 4. He'll hit from the right side for the first time. Carnes went 5, Zick went 2, Nuno went 1. Each one of those pitchers has given up at least a run to the A's.
And looks like Zipchit's going to get the 9th as the bullpen quiet for the A's.
Right into the glove of Cano, who was playing over there. Coco's had a good night. A couple of line drive outs. So with 2 away, Coghlan will hit for the 5th time. Chris is 0 for 4. 3 ground outs and a fly ball to left field. Rangers 3 outs away from a win in Anaheim. They lead the Angels 4-1 into the bottom of the ninth. Numbers for Eric Surkamp. And he will start again. I believe that's Wednesday. Is that correct? Yeah, he's scheduled to start Wednesday against the Angels. That's the day game. And the 0-2 pitch. Coghlan swings and misses. So, very nice inning for Mike Montgomery. Bottom of the ninth coming up. A's trying to wrap it up. They lead 6-1.
MLB.com at bat. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet.
(6-1) A's lead. It is the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll keep it right here in Comcast Sportsnet California with A's post-game live coming up right after the game. We'll have a special guest for you as always.
It's nice to be a pitcher to pitch every 5th day and have 4-run lead in the 9th inning. It can have a little fun.
There's the Godfather.
Yeah, Bruce comes waltzing in the 9th inning from the head of Rowley Stogie.
You need anything? That's the man to go to. Steve Vucinich. I love that guy. He's the Godfather. So Subchinski does stay in the game. And he'll face Cruz, Seager, and Iannetta. And they get the A's their 3rd win of the year. Three-hit night for that man, Stephen Vogt. Nelson Cruz tonight has struck out, hit a fly ball to right field, and he has singled 1 for 3. Breaking ball, Cruz watches it. So Hernandez and Bassett tomorrow. And then we get to come right back home, which we're happy about. So the Angels and the Royals next week. Close pitch, now 3-2.
Yeah, might as well just challenge him, throw a good changeup to get strike 2, but see if Stephen Vogt puts the #1 down. It's a fastball. Oh, shook to the changeup. Try to fool him on 3-2.
Good pitch. Down off the end of the bat. You can hear it.
And that's where you want to see the pitcher shake to a pitch that he's confident to throw. And Subchinski liked the changeup. Threw it down the middle of the plate. Cruz at least able to protect, foul off a very good changeup.
There's a shot. Simeon on a dive, and he caught it.
Kid's had a great night tonight. Started a double play, a huge double play back in the 4th inning on Iannetta on a 2-1 game, and this ball hooking away from him, went to the dive and came up with it. Probably hurt his hand too. That's a ball was smoked by Cruz.
What do they say? Don't rub it.
Nope.
Don't rub it.
Do it. Just make sure that all the webbing, everything's good. Clench your hand.
It's nice to see tonight, Ray, as the A's have played good defense.
Yeah.
Lonzo's made some nice plays. That was a nice play. Stephen Vogt threw out a base runner. Makes a world of difference when the team plays good defense.
That's not an easy play, especially with the ball hooking away, hit very hard by Nelson Cruz. But Simeon stayed with it. Made a nice play.
Under the glove of the first baseman Alonso, but Lowry has it, throws to first, and they got him.
What a stretch by Subchinski. Wow. Past the diving Alonso to the dive in the outfield by Jed Lowry, and Subchinski there to cover and a stretch on top of it. Jed Lowry throwing from his knees. Subchinski like a first baseman doing the splits. Look at this play by Subchinski. And he kept his foot on the bag and got a huge out with Alonso still on the ground. Lowry's on the ground. You got 3 guys flat out, laid out. Just getting some of the dirt and mud off.
I was going to say, I'm glad he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, well, he could have gotten stepped on, but I think just giving a chance to take a breather.
So he's wiping off his pitching hand.
Exactly. Right.
What a play.
As you were just talking about defense, and that play
that was
probably
the best one of them all.
The play of the game. There's 2 outs.
I think he's going to throw.
Oh,
one.
just to make sure, yeah, because he may have jammed his hand.
So he's fine, and Iannetta steps in. 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
But look at Lowry just spinning and throwing, but Septinski able to keep the left foot on the bag, reach out, sprawled out, and what a play.
Well, as you watch the play, I mean, you obviously concentrate on Septinski, but that was a great play by Lowry.
Exactly. Yeah, he was throwing all the while with no balance whatsoever, and spinning and throwing at the same time. So a big night defensively for Jed. Offensively, a big night, driving in a couple of runs, going to get to shift twice.
.20 pitch is low. Now 3-0.
If you can get Iannetta, that's the bullpen retiring 9 straight again.
That's right.
So it's down to 3-0 count after that spectacular play.
And a 4-pitch walk. So Iannetta keeps the game alive.
And you know, the one thing I mentioned earlier about Alonso and what he said as far as trying to take the bag as much as possible, he did bring up exactly what Septinski went through, and that is a pitcher having to hurry over, cover the bag, in this case laying out. But as Alonso said, if I can eliminate a pitcher having to make that start, that dash like that, and he's coming over quickly, and then he realizes I have to make a play, gets the left foot on the bag and stretches out.
He really jams that left hand into the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
One misses to Seth Smith. So just in case, Doolittle will start to throw.
But just in general, when a pitcher has to sprint to first base, that's why you like to see a catcher, somebody go out and give him a breather, let him catch his breath.
There's a strike. So 1-1 the count. Second at bat for Smith. He grounded out as a pinch hitter in the 7th. Slider in the dirt.
Well, under the glove of Alonso, Lowry in the outfield to his knees, spins, throws really, I guess, to the bag or close to it. And then Seager steps over and doesn't step on Septinski as he went to the ground.
Alonso has it. He'll take it himself. Septinski finishes the game with 2 good innings, and the Oakland A's have taken the first 2 games of this series. And tonight, Rich Hill, 6 terrific innings, 3 hits by Stephen Vogt, and a good night all around here at Safeco Field as the A's win it by a final score of 6-1. It took 2 hours and 54 minutes. The attendance tonight, 36,424. Once again, final score, the Athletics 6 and the Mariners 1. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Mindy Bach and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.